Moving beyond survival mode, building trust and integrity in yourself and the marketplace. Survival mode breeds a mentality that focuses on the present rather than the big picture. Nipsey Hussle. Hello, and welcome back to the Mind Your Business Mentor podcast. I'm your mentor and your host, Stephanie. Today we'll be talking about survival mode as it relates to both life and business. Whether it's dealing with a personal crisis or a setback in our business, we've all been there at some point or another. But the question is, how do you navigate through these challenges and still come out on top? We will address that as we discuss how to move beyond survival mode and build trust and integrity in yourself and the marketplace to get what you set out to obtain. I'm excited about this episode. This episode is special to me. This episode was inspired by one of my virtual mentors, Nipsey Hussle. Rest in peace. I heard him say something about survival mode during an interview. And when he started talking, what he was saying was making a lot of sense, but there was something in my mind that I kept tripping up over. It's like a majority of me was like, yes, exactly, exactly. Then the other part was like, wait, hold on. Because I knew I had heard a different side of survival mode. So, as a refresher, the quote is survival mode breeds a mentality that focuses on the present rather than the big picture. Nipsey Hussle. There are two different schools of thought on survival mode. Now, the first school of thought is that survival mode is necessary in certain situations, such as during a time of a crisis or extreme stress. In this view, survival mode is a way to cope with difficult circumstances and can help an individual get through tough times. Those who have this school of thought argue that, survival mode can lead to resilience and strength in the face of adversity. The second school of thought is that survival mode can be detrimental to long-term success and happiness. In this view, survival mode can create a mindset that is focused only on short term survival rather than long term growth and development. Now, those who have this school of thought, such as Nipsey, they argue that survival mode can lead to a cycle of stress, burnout, and limited opportunities. They believe that it is important to move beyond survival mode and focus on creating a vision for the future and taking intentional action to achieve it. Which school of thought do you subscribe to? So remember when I told you my mind was tripping up? Well, what it was really doing was asking this question. Which school of thought do you subscribe to? See, because I can see both sides. I can see how being in survival mode can bring out the best in you, where you step up to the plate and you handle your business and so on and so forth. And then I see how what Nipsey said in regards to being in survival mode, you have short-term vision. You can't see past today. You can't see past the moment. And the consequences down the line or the missed opportunities in the future are irrelevant. You're just trying to get through the day. So I say again to myself, which school of thought do you subscribe to? I was talking with a friend of mine, and this quote came up again this week. It came up again because it was in the front of my mind, although that is not even what we were talking about. We weren't talking about survival. We weren't talking about being in survival mode. We were talking about, I couldn't think of the word at the time, but now it's coming to me. We were talking about plateauing. You know, when you're striving to get something done, you are pushed and encouraged by the leaps and bounds that you're making because you're coming from such a low place. At least that's how I can describe my situation. You're coming from a low place, so there's no way but up. And because there's no way but up, or I mean, you can stay stuck, but that's not the goal. The goal is to you're in survival mode and you're trying to change that situation for yourself. At least that should be the goal, which kind of hints to which school of thought I subscribe to. But I but we were on the phone talking about that. But when you start doing well for yourself, so here's the basis of the conversation. You start doing well for yourself, things are drastically different than what they were a while ago, 12 months ago, 14 months ago, whatever it is. But you don't feel like you're getting anywhere. You don't feel like you're moving, or you don't know which way to move. What is the next move? Because you need to continue making these leaps and bounds. And the more you progress, the harder it is to visualize or to see the leaps and bounds. And I'm not saying you as the person that has a vision for their life. I'm saying from that, somewhat from the outside looking in, meaning that you're, uh, what am I trying to say? It's harder to see large leaps and bounds when the scale is larger. Even when you're doing something tremendous, now that you have grown horizontally and vertically, it just doesn't show up as much because you're working in a larger container, if that makes any sense. You're working in a larger space. So even when you're doing the darn thing and you're getting stuff done, you don't see it as much because you are in the maintaining and incremental growth stage. You know what I mean? And but I didn't, it's crazy because when I was having the conversation, I didn't see what I'm telling y'all right now. I'm seeing it now. I can hear it and feel it in me now, but I didn't see that then. All I could do was relate. I knew exactly what they were referring to because I've been there. I've come from a low place and started doing well for myself. And what I felt is what I believe they felt as well, is that you miss the hunger. See, and that's the thing. No matter what level you get to, you can never lose the hunger. I don't want to change this context of this episode, so that would be a different episode. But yeah, you never want to lose the hunger. But emotions show up in multiple facets. There could be 7 to 10 different emotions that represent one feeling. So it's like stuff comes up and you're not sure, is this anxiousness, is this discouragement, is this ungratefulness, is this what is it, and that's when the quote by Nipsey popped back into my head. And then it was clear to me, without the hunger, you don't inspire to have a vision. You don't have the desire to have one, to create one, to even acknowledge that it exists. You just, without the hunger. And that hunger, it's a roller coaster ride. It comes and it goes, it peaks and it flows. And you have to, that's when your emotional intelligence and your character comes into play. You have to remember when things were bad, even when they're good. And you don't want to always have to use something negative to keep you on the positive and the empowering side of things. Use whatever you need to use. I don't care if it's the past. I don't care if the future is pulling you forward or the past is pushing you up. Whichever one you want to use, whichever one makes sense to you, use it to maintain and work through the process and believe and trust in the process, that because you don't give up, you win. What Nipsey was referring to was those who adopt the fact that they've given up and it is what it is. And today is today, to let tomorrow worry about itself, like in true living fashion. That school of thought blocks you. It stops you. It puts limits on you where limits really don't exist. And I'm grateful that I lean toward the other school of thought. Not just, I'm not being biased just because Nipsey said something. I'm serious. I'm very grateful for the other school of thought because I would probably just implode if I wasn't progressing. I want to progress, but I also, at some point, I also wanted to progress holistically. I didn't want to make any sacrifices. I wanted every area of my life to be good and to feel good. And it's hard to get there if you are in survival mode on the first school of thought, which is that it's necessary and that it will build strength and resilience. I do believe that part, that it can provide strength and resilience, but it can't stop there. That strength has got to help you pull you up to a different level, a different layer, because sometimes going up is not always what we want. Sometimes we just want to go out. We want to, there's two different directions we can grow: vertically, horizontally. And but the growth is necessary. If you're not growing, you're dying. I hate saying that, but it's, if you're not growing, you're dying. You're stagnant, waiting to die. And that's a very uncomfortable feeling. So the school of thought that I subscribe to is the second school of thought, which is survival mode is not the state that you need to be in. You need to be on the MYB lifestyle stage. You need to look at every area of your life, assess it where you are right now, and start putting a plan together for where you want to be in the future, and have a hell of a lot of fun doing it, because you are creating your own destiny. You are creating your own outcome. You're taking responsibility for your own outcome. So, in conclusion, moving forward beyond survival mode and building trust and integrity in yourself and the marketplace is essential to achieving your goals and dreams. It's important to focus on the bigger picture and think about your long-term goals while also building a solid foundation for success through trust and integrity. Take some time and reflect on which school of thought you subscribe to, or on whether you're in survival mode right now, or if you're focused on the bigger picture and the long term goals. Identify areas where you can build trust and integrity within yourself and in your business, and take action, getting you closer to your bigger picture, which I like to call a vision for your life. Working toward your vision is you minding your business. Thank you for listening to the Mind Your Business Mentor podcast. I truly do appreciate it. I do. I do. And if you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe on your favorite platform, share, and leave a comment. I really want to know what school of thought you subscribe to and why. And I would like to know what you thought about this subject matter. Have you ever given it any thought before? Am I the one that's behind the ball? But no, let me know if you like the episode, and let's talk. Don't forget to join our MYB lifestyle community by visiting us at themindyourbusinessmentor.com and completing the MYB life assessment that's found on the homepage. You'll receive more tips and insights on building a life and not just a business. So to close us out, I do have advice. I have to have advice. I'm a mentor. So my advice is for you to keep your eyes on the big picture, aka a vision for your life. And the best way to do that is to mind your business.